Hey, it's Patricia Murphy. It's Friday, Casual Friday, and this is Seattle Now. If you tuned into the debate this week, you're probably still recovering. But don't worry, because everything isn't terrible. 3 words for you. Fat Bear Week. KUOW Zaki Hamid and local author and podcast host Molly Wizenberg are here to break it all down. But first, let's get you caught up. Amazon says its coronavirus infection rates were 42% lower than the general population. The company says more than 19,000 workers have tested positive or been presumed positive for coronavirus during the pandemic. Amazon analyzed data on 1.3 million frontline workers at Amazon and Whole Foods between March and September. And there have been a couple of local outbreaks of coronavirus. Salish Lodge and Spa in Snoqualmie has closed after 23 staff and 2 guests tested positive for COVID. Health officials say anyone who visited the hotel between September 16th and the 30th should probably get a test. UW's Greek system declared a second coronavirus outbreak. The university's fraternities have confirmed 104 cases since September 1st. And glimmers of hope for Washington's job market. New unemployment claims fell last week to 17,732. That's a 9.4% drop on the previous week. It's the lowest level since March. But don't get too excited. That's still 3 times higher than what it was a year ago. This week, the moon is orange from wildfire smoke, of course, but it's really fitting for the season. And by that, I mean it's spooky out there. I even heard the coyotes yipping this week. Zaki Hamid is joining us. He's KUOW's Director of Community Engagement. Zaki, are the leaves turning up north by you?
Oh, yeah. It's that backyard of mine is starting to become a pest.
And Molly Wizenberg is here. She's a local author and podcaster. Molly, have you made friends with your neighborhood spiders yet?
Oh, yes. Yes. Actually, an exterminator came by trying to get me to hire him. And I was like, no, the spiders and I are friends now.
Well, thank you very much for both of you for taking the time this week. And what a week it was. Wow, the presidential debate. This was unreal. President Trump and former Vice President Biden in Cleveland this week. The response, of course, unequivocal. Dumpster fire, hot mess, the worst debate in history. Zeki, what do you make of this? Did you gather your family to watch like I did?
You know, in the words of Bishop Bullwinkle, hell nah to the nah. Yeah, we were not going to watch this thing whatsoever. We knew there was going to be a dumpster fire. I did watch the highlights, so to speak, kind of ESPN style. I listened to a podcast about it, so I know what's happening. But, you mentioned dumpster fires. Of the 1,001 dumpster fires that include in this debate, there's really only one thing that stood out to me above all else. The President of the United States, when given an opportunity to condemn white supremacy, not only did he not do it, he told a white supremacist hate group to stand by. Now, these hate groups, they're armed, right? They're behaving like militias. And, I had a run-in with a militia once. I used to live in Beirut in the early 90s. I used to go to the American University of Beirut. And since the country had just climbed out of a 16 civil war, militias were around still. They didn't go anywhere. And they were all over campus, too. They would intimidate, threaten, spread fear and chaos, not to mention violence. But they just wanted to assert their power. Now, the hate groups that we have here, that's what they're doing. They're acting just like those militias, right? So what we heard in that debate is just, not only is it bananas, it is just downright dangerous.
Yeah, Zeki, I heard the president say those words, and I looked at my son, who was at that point still sitting next to me, and I said, this is very terrifying, what just happened here. Mm-hmm. It was really a stunning moment in a stunning debate. Molly, right. I felt like I needed therapy after watching this thing.
Yeah, this felt like something to, at best, survive. I did watch it. I don't know what I was thinking. I think that I somehow thought that it would be only as horrifying as it was when Trump debated Hillary Clinton and sort of stalked her from the back of the stage. Which
I remember that.
was absolutely horrifying at that time. And so I think I thought that it was maybe going to be like that. I was really naive. I had absolutely, it's hard to even come up with words for this. It was truly a deranged and deranging experience.
Really tough news for Boeing workers this week. Company says they're consolidating production of the 787 Dreamliner in South Carolina. Terrible news for the workforce in Everett. Lots of people are probably going to be losing their jobs sometime in mid-2021. And it seems like Boeing has been partially leaving Washington State forever. It's never not a blow for the workers, but this used to be Jet City, Zeki. People moved here to work for Boeing for life, and that doesn't feel like it's a reality anymore.
No, I know a lot of people that work in Everett and work in Boeing. My heart just really goes out to all the folks that are going to lose their jobs, all the small businesses that depend on that workforce. They're going to be suffering. It just feels like a stab in the back. That's I know it's nuanced. I know that's not what, might not be what it is, but that's just how it feels right now. And man, I just, I feel for Everett. I really do.
Yeah, the company is really hurting from the downturn and, of course, the MAX jet disaster. But the workers are the ones who are being left out of the rebuilding plan, in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. Molly, I wonder if we're just fully becoming a tech city now.
It sure feels that way. I know that Boeing has stated that they plan to come back here. But is there any precedent for that? I mean, that doesn't seem, that seems like just putting a Band-Aid on it. It seems like we are, I think for a long time now, we have been fully having secured that turn into being a tech city.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like the end of an era. I wonder, Inslee has said that he will re-examine Boeing's tax benefits here in Washington State. I wonder if this might be the end of the tax benefit for large companies. I'm thinking about Amazon and that huge. Remember that big farce for the search for the new headquarters, which was really just an information grab? That doesn't actually sound, I don't know, in this climate like that's a good bankable option right now. And Inslee is definitely putting the heat on Boeing to figure it out here.
We've gotten rid of tax breaks for other things, too. Right? I mean, you remember, like, the era of having taxpayers subsidize an arena, right? That was gone when the Sonics left, and that never came back. So this could happen now, that we could see an era like, you know what, we're not going to be giving huge tax breaks to corporations anymore, because if they're just going to, do a 180 after, 17 years or whatever and get out of town.
Well, and quite frankly, we need the money in the state now. Right? We need to start capitalizing on the businesses that do significant business in this region. The weather is turning, but outdoor dining is going to stick around. Apparently, restaurants and bars are gearing up for fall outdoor dining. Molly, 150 restaurants so far are buying awnings and heat lamps. You into this?
I have to say, I have not eaten inside or outside at a restaurant since lockdown started. That said, as someone who was in the restaurant industry for a decade, I totally get it. I think that this is what a lot of restaurants are going to have to do to survive this.
Yeah.
We don't have a plan set up through our government to protect small businesses, and that's what most restaurants are. So I'm all for it. And I think that, the restaurants are being given pretty good guidelines for how to do this safely. And so if it's something that people feel up to supporting, I think we should all do it. If not, let's all get takeout.
I could see this. Irish coffee, hot buttered rum. I don't know. I can only think of things I would want to drink outside, not eat.
Well, and I do like the idea of an awning and like that sort of cafe culture that you get like in Europe or in Buenos Aires, like I think we could do that with some heat lamps and a glass of wine, some salted peanuts,
Maybe I'll show up with my comforter, just wrap my comforter.
Yes. Your
blankets.
Whole body sleeping bag.
The Snuggies. You get your Snuggie, you show up at your favorite restaurant. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's a great idea, but I ain't going. I'm still afraid of the Rona, so I'm sticking indoors, man.
Yeah, Zaki, you've been super careful. You've been super careful. This week, the thing that has been the highlight of my week is live bear cam. It is the time of year where the bears are fattening up before they hibernate. And in Southwest Alaska at Katmai National Park and Preserve, they have a fat bear contest. And what they do, this is for real, they set up, there's a live webcam you can watch, but every day they put up brackets and it's bear against bear. So you vote for your favorite fattest bear. And what they do is they put the bear in the spring when they came out of hibernation and they're all thin. And then they put their beautiful, rotund, 1,000-pound selves all fattened up on salmon. And you vote for which one is the winner of the day. Molly, have you seen this?
This is, I got to tell you, I've got it on my computer right now while we're talking. It is. So since watching the debate on Tuesday night, this is the most peace that I have felt. Oh my God, it's fantastic. So, I've watched webcams before of the Cornell bird webcams and things where only sometimes do you see a bird. No. This is amazing. I'm watching a salmon stride powerfully through the river right now. Highly recommended antidote to everything that ails you.
It's going to leap right into that bear's mouth. I just love it when they grab them out of the air. They literally, okay, for people who have not seen this, these bears will sit at the top of this riverbank where the water just flows and the salmon need to make a leap to get to the next part of the river. And they will just sit there and wait for them to leap out of the water and they grab them and eat them up. Chomp, chomp, chomp all day long. Oh my gosh.
I'm definitely not going to be able to pick a favorite because they are all doing so much for me as a human being by being their bear selves.
I like Chunk because I think Chunk just reminds me of Goonies. So it's like, Chunk is pretty cool. Otis is pretty cool. Reminds me of Otis Redding. I was like, all right, that's how I'm choosing my favorites. But I'm telling you, my productivity level has plummeted since I've heard about this thing because I can't stop watching this cam.
This is the content we need right now. People.
Oh God,
seriously.
It's so good.
Yes.
So good.
And of course, the more I think about this, the more jealous I get of the bears because wouldn't it be just amazing right now if we could just eat a bunch of food and go to sleep for a few months?
Oh, I mean,
maybe a few years.
Yeah. Get your votes in. Fat Bear Week goes on until October 6th. That's our show for this week. Thanks again to my guest, Zaki Hamid. He's KUOW's Director of Community Engagement, and Molly Wizenberg, local author and podcast host. Thanks, you two.
Thanks, Trish.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Seattle Now is produced by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Clare McGrane, Sophie Reed, and Jason Pagano. Matt Jorgensen does our music. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you Monday.